The wind off the South Pacific rolled heavy and warm over the deck of the Blue Marlin. Beneath a sky the color of polished steel, the ocean was deceptively calm, small waves shimmering under the noon sun. Marina Cruz leaned over the starboard rail, her long black hair whipping across her face, and squinted at the distant horizon. Her friends thought she'd come out here for the sun and the champagne. Truth was, Marina had a habit of chasing things most sane people would run from. And today, she had a hunch. The Blue Marlin wasn't just a luxury yacht. It was a floating fortress owned by tech mogul Victor Dane, who had invited a handful of influencers, models, and thrill-seekers on what he called a deep-sea expedition. Marina suspected his interest wasn't sightseeing. Rumors had been floating around for months about a massive predator prowling the shipping lanes. Fishermen's nets came back shredded, holes turned up with bite marks the size of truck tires. Marina wanted proof. The first hit. The party had been going for 3 hours when the water beneath them shifted. Marina felt it before she saw it. A faint thud traveled up through the hull, subtle enough that most guests didn't notice. Then came the shadow. It was massive, sliding silently beneath the boat like a ghost. Only ghosts didn't throw 10-meter silhouettes. The water grew darker, as though something had stolen the light itself. Marina gripped the rail, eyes wide. And then it struck. The Blue Marlin jolted with a force that sent champagne glasses crashing and guests sprawling across the deck. A deep, resonant whump echoed up from the hull. Somewhere below, metal groaned in protest. Probably a whale, someone laughed nervously. But Marina knew better. The rise of the monster. The surface exploded. A wall of water surged upward as the creature breached, its jagged dorsal fin slicing the air, followed by a head the size of a car. Rows upon rows of teeth gleamed like broken glass. Its eyes, black and ancient, locked on the boat. "Mega shark," Marina whispered, her voice swallowed by the roar of the ocean. The shark slammed its jaws into the starboard side, wood splintering like matchsticks. Guests screamed, scrambling for life vests. Victor was shouting into a satellite phone, ordering the captain to power up the engines, but the beast had other plans. The hunt. The shark circled, each pass bringing it closer. Marina's heart thudded in her chest. She'd read enough to know this wasn't just any great white. It was a prehistoric throwback, an apex predator from another age. And now it had a yacht full of panicked humans to play with. When it lunged again, the boat listed sharply. Marina lost her footing and went over the side. Cold swallowed her. For a moment, she was suspended in blue silence, disoriented. Then movement, a massive shadow sweeping toward her. The shark's jaws opened, and she saw the pale pink of its throat. Instinct took over. She kicked upward, breaking the surface just as the shark lunged beneath her. The water around her surged, pulling her back toward its mouth. The escape. Marina's hands found the trailing rope ladder from the yacht. She hauled herself upward, every muscle screaming, water streaming from her skin. Below, the shark's snout broke the surface, teeth snapping inches from her dangling legs. It rammed the hull again, nearly throwing her off, but she clung like her life depended on it, because it did. With a final burst of strength, she pulled herself onto the deck. She lay there, chest heaving, her bikini clinging to her like a second skin, salt water dripping from her hair and curves. Around her, chaos reigned, crew members shouting, alarms blaring, the captain struggling to steer. The shark wasn't done. Turning the tables, Marina stumbled to her feet and made for the harpoon gun mounted at the bow, one of Victor's just-in-case toys. She loaded a spear, heart pounding. The shark surfaced again, massive jaws opening wide. "You picked the wrong boat," she growled. When it lunged, she fired. The harpoon shot through the air, striking deep into the creature's flank. It thrashed violently, sending waves over the deck. The rope attached to the harpoon went taut, yanking the bow toward the beast. The crew managed to fire up the engines. With the shark tethered and disoriented, the yacht pulled away, dragging the monster for nearly 100 meters before the line snapped. Aftermath. The ocean grew still again, but everyone knew it wasn't over. Somewhere out there, the mega shark was nursing its wound and plotting its next strike. Marina stood at the bow, hair whipping in the wind, eyes scanning the horizon. She'd escaped its jaws this time, but part of her knew she'd see those black eyes again. And when she did, she'd be ready. The ocean was calm, too calm. Cassie Rourke leaned against the yacht's railing, sunglasses tipped down, scanning the endless blue. Her hair was tied in a loose ponytail, the breeze playing with golden strands as she adjusted the strap of her crimson bikini. The Sea Whisper drifted lazily over the glassy surface, sunlight glittering off the waves like molten gold. It was supposed to be an easy day, just her, the yacht, and a few hours of peace before heading back to shore. She'd anchored 30 miles off the Florida Keys, far enough to escape the weekend crowd. But as the minutes ticked by, something gnawed at her instincts. Cassie wasn't the kind of woman to get rattled, but the ocean felt wrong. She heard it before she saw it, a low, rumbling splash that didn't belong. Turning toward the sound, she spotted a faint ripple, much larger than any passing fish. Her eyes narrowed. Then the water bulged. Something was coming up. The first sight of it stole her breath. A dorsal fin the size of a car door sliced through the water, trailing a jagged wake. Then, as if to mock her, the beast's head rose above the surface, gray, scarred, and impossibly huge. Rows of teeth the length of her forearm gleamed in the sun. A mega shark. Cassie's hand flew to the radio. Mayday, mayday. This is the Sea Whisper, 30 miles southeast of Key Largo. Massive predator sighted. The boat jolted. A thunderous boom shook the deck as the shark slammed into the hull. Cassie stumbled, dropping the radio. Water splashed high over the bow. The mega shark circled back, its massive tail smashing into the side, sending a spray of seawater across her face. Panic kicked in, but so did adrenaline. Cassie lunged toward the wheel, cranking the throttle. The yacht roared forward, but the mega shark was faster. She caught sight of its shadow, a moving darkness beneath the waves, before it surged upward, smashing its head into the stern. The force pitched her forward, slamming her into the console. Pain flared along her ribs. The boat tilted dangerously, one of the railings snapping off with a metallic scream. Then she saw it, coming right at her, mouth open wide enough to swallow a car. Cassie bolted. She dove for the port side, vaulting over the broken railing just as the mega shark's jaws closed around the deck where she had stood. The sound of splintering fiberglass filled the air. She hit the water hard, the salt stinging her eyes. For one disorienting moment, she was surrounded by bubbles. Then the shadow passed beneath her again, massive, relentless. She kicked upward, breaking the surface, sucking in air just as the mega shark lunged from below. Its teeth missed her by inches. Cassie swam hard, but the yacht, half submerged now, was her only cover. She darted toward the wreckage, using the floating debris as a shield. The mega shark circled, its dorsal fin slicing closer and closer. She spotted the emergency life raft canister, still strapped to the sinking hull. With a surge of desperate strength, she yanked it free, pulling the cord. The raft burst open, unfurling with a hiss. She scrambled aboard, her legs shaking, every muscle screaming in protest. The mega shark wasn't done. It rammed the raft, sending her sprawling. Cassie grabbed the safety rope, clinging on as the raft bucked like a toy. She knew she couldn't just drift. If the beast punctured it, she'd be done for. That's when she saw the flare gun. Still wedged in the side compartment of the half-sunken yacht, it was barely reachable. The mega shark's bulk passed between her and the weapon, forcing her to time her move perfectly. She waited, heart pounding, until the fin passed, then dove back into the water. Her hands closed around the flare gun just as the shadow wheeled back toward her. She turned, aimed, and fired. The flare shot straight into the mega shark's open mouth, bursting in a blinding flash. The creature recoiled, thrashing violently, waves surging around them. Cassie used the distraction to haul herself back into the raft, paddling frantically with her hands. Minutes dragged into what felt like hours. The mega shark dove, vanishing into the deep. The water stilled again. Cassie's breath came in ragged gasps, but she didn't relax. She knew predators like that didn't just give up. Sure enough, the fin appeared again on the horizon, cutting straight toward her. She braced herself. The mega shark lunged, but at the last second, a deafening blast tore through the air. A harpoon struck the beast's flank, fired from a passing fishing trawler that had answered her earlier distress call. The shark twisted in pain, tail lashing the water to froth, then slipped beneath the surface for good. Cassie collapsed in the raft, chest heaving, the sun burning her skin. When the trawler pulled alongside, a grizzled captain leaned over the rail. "You're one lucky lady," he said, eyes scanning the shredded remains of her yacht. Cassie managed a weak smile. Lucky's one word for it. They hauled her aboard, the sea stretching endlessly around them. Somewhere below, she knew, the mega shark still roamed. And she wasn't sure if she'd just escaped or been spared for another day.